Hi everyone, welcome to my channel if you're new here, welcome back if you're a returning viewer or subscriber. I sincerely apologise for the lighting, it's so bad, but I A, need to film this video today, and B, there's literally nothing I can do about this. Like, I've tried every single thing. Basically I have a window up here, and my camera is viewing the situation as a spotlight shining down on me, so that's great because that's really not what I wanted to hear. But it means that I am extremely overexposed, and the books here are really light, the books here are dark. This is what we're focusing on because this is a TBR job picks my reads for the month of March. I filmed so many of these videos, but I took a little break last month because I decided I would like to mood read, and that didn't go very well. Yes, it was nice that I could mood read, but it also meant that I didn't get to as many books because I didn't have the pressure of a fixed TBR, which means that this year I've read literally like 6 books, which is for me really bad. I should be like double that basically. Yeah, I feel like we're gonna go back to TBR at least for March, and I'll see how that goes, if I can kind of switch things around and basically know if it makes some sort of difference. But without further ado, let's just get into the video because I'm really excited to read. I really want to kind of pick up my reading pace and switch my reading year around because I feel like it's got off to a rough start. I'm really keen to improve it along the way. There's nothing particular I want to get to. I have half a mind to try and get Stoner in the TBR. That's the reason why it's like on this random stack of non-fiction books. I brought it through from my classics bookshelf, but if I don't manage to, then I will either pick it up anyways or save it for a different month. Let's try and get back into a reading spirit on month 3 of 2025. I'm also not sure how many prompts I'm going to be picking out, just be like based off vibes and how thick they are and stuff like that. A book written before I was born. We could do Stoner. I'm pretty sure this has to have been written before I was born. First published 1965. I was definitely not born prior to 1965. If you're new to these videos of mine, I run through what each book is about once we have picked the entire TBR. So for a book written before I was born, Stoner by John Williams. It's actually so good to get this in. It also means I can free up the TBR for whatever it decides to pick for me. Perfect. That's going to put a bit of pressure on me though because I'm going to read that for a video. You have to stay tuned to see what it is, but I'm so excited for it. But it also is like a lot of work, so hopefully I can manage to get it done. I genuinely think I've just broken my hand. You did not see that, but oh my gosh, my Thor Funko Pop fell off my bookshelf and landed on my hand. I'm gonna have some really fat bruise. I think it's because I leant back into my shelves and could see balance on top. That did not go very well, but my hand is so injured. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm just gonna put him back and not do that again. It did only hit my hand because I dodged it hitting me on the head, so maybe it's fine. Okay, prompt number 2. That was so dramatic. I wish I'd been recording at the time. Genuinely, I'm gonna have some really, you can't even see, but it was gnarly. We'll do this one. Any hardcover. Why was I so kind to myself? That is such a nice prompt. You're not gonna see that, but yeah, that's really exciting. I'm going to, I feel like maybe, you know what I'm thinking of doing? I think I might choose The Creative Act. This is a book that's on my 2025 TBR, a book I've been wanting to get to for a really long time, and a book that might be helpful with the creation of this video. So I feel like I'll read this one and then this one. It's going to take a lot from me, so like creatively and in other ways too. So I feel like this could be a good one. Look at this bruise for me on my hand. Okay, I'm too overexposed for you can actually tell, but it's purple already. Prompt number 3, a thrifted book. That's a really good one because I thrift honestly like almost like the majority of my books at this point, so I have almost like unlimited options. I fear this is extremely rogue, but I might go with Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. One thing about me is that I never read thrillers, so this is kind of crazy, but my thinking is I've had this book on my TBR for so long and I just like don't know when I'm ever going to get to it or if I'm ever going to get to it, so I thought I could give it a go and then see. I loved The Girl on the Train by this author, but that's the only book I've ever read from her, and it's the only thriller that I've really like loved. That was a 5-star read, but I also read it in 2016, so I don't know. I feel like, yeah, we'll give this one a go. I might end up unhauling it. Thankfully the font is literally massive. It is like over 400 pages, but we'll try it, we'll see. This could be a really speedy read and I might love it, who knows. So maybe we'll go with that for a thrifted book. Okay, prompt number 4. I think we might do 5. That's what I'm kind of feeling. Quite like a romance or a fantasy. Flowers on the cover. I don't think I've ever had this prompt before, so that's kind of fun. Let me see what we have. I know for a fact I could definitely do The Invisible Life of Ali LaRue because that has forget-me-nots all over the cover. What else do we have? Oh, it does. A Call This Girl Lovely has flowers as well. This was a gift from Lucy. She gave it to me for hitting 3k, which was so kind of her, but also I'm just so excited about this book. I feel like it's gonna be great, and I'm kind of in like a romantic mood, like I said. Just going through all my fantasy books. This one has leaves. It doesn't really count. Expatriates. That has a flower on the cover. I mean, you literally can't argue with that. It's like a massive peony or something like that. That's not really the kind of vibe I want. That's kind of more literary fiction. Ashes in the Star-Cursed King. It has a big flower on it there. But this is a pretty thick commitment considering I'm still in the middle of Fellowship of the Ring. Prisoner's Throne has berries. That doesn't count. My Dark Vanessa has a butterfly. We've got lots of butterflies actually. And then in terms of any of these, what do we have? I don't think any of these will have a flower. Does this have a flower? This is another book I need to read actually because it's an arc, so I'll be reading it regardless. No, literally in no way whatsoever. We can't even push it. So I think it's going to have to be between these two, or we could do a romance book. Because I do have Powerless by Elsie Silver, which is the third book in the Chestnut Spring series. It's been so long since I last read one of these. And that definitely has a purple flower on it. So I think it's between these books. What should we do? Okay, so Invisible Life of Adia Rue is the one that I'm feeling the least like I want to read. Just because it's long and I feel like this might be better suited to the colder months of the year. No, March is still freezing in the UK, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I mean like autumn. Basically, we're gonna say no to that one. This is starting a new series. This is continuing a series I've needed to, so realistically it should be this. If we get a fifth prompt, that means I have to choose a romance book and I'm gonna be annoyed to have 2 romance books on here. I don't know, I really want to read this. Basically, I was interested in this book because people said it's like the closest thing to ACOTAR you can find. And ACOTAR, if you didn't already know, is my favorite series. And then I saw one fan art of the man in this book and I saw that he has long hair and I literally was sold. That's TMI. I'll put some pictures on the screen. That is kind of my type. So, you know, when you're in the mood for romantasy and the main character looks like that, it is tempting. But I still think we might do this one instead, just because of how much like I really should be getting to this. Because like I said, I have read the first 2 books in this series and I need to read the last 3. I adored the first book, Flawless. That's a 4.5 star read for me, which is huge. And then Heartless I gave 3.5, or maybe 3. No, 3.5 I think it was. And then this one I've heard really mixed things about. Some people find this as their favourite in the series and some people think it's like one of the worst. It's definitely like the longest one I think, so we'll see, but I'm really excited. Okay. And then final prompt number 5, I would love to get a fantasy in here because I'm just craving it. An animal companion or an animal on the cover. I feel like this is going to be kind of tricky. Can you see this? Oh, I have just been saying there's been butterflies. Butterflies, like in my mind, do not count, which is so stupid. But yeah, so we know for sure we have The Prisoner's Throne and we have My Dark Vanessa. Ashes in the Star-Cursed King. No, there's nothing on that. The Songbourne and the Heartstone will have a bird on it, but I don't want to read that because I want to read the Ashes in the Star-Cursed King first. Pearl of the Orange Tree has a dragon on, but that's too thick for right now, or maybe ever. Do we have any others? I feel like we must do. No. Wolf Den? Does that have a wolf? Nope. These High Vows? No. Are we actually not going to have one? Because that would be crazy. I need to like do a proper search. This is getting serious. Guys, I'm actually concerned. None of these have animals on the cover. Does this one have one? No, it's a child. I thought it was an animal, but it's a child. This is a literal child. Is Kairos? No. This is actually crazy. No. Oh my gosh. This is so crazy. I genuinely don't think I have an animal aside from a butterfly. And I don't know whether I want to read either of the ones that have a butterfly on. This has got a symbol of a cat. Does that count? Graceling doesn't. Guys, I really don't want to read one of the books that has a butterfly on. Like, does a butterfly even count as an animal? It literally does. What's wrong with me? Do we have any romance books? Or maybe I could do a Kindle book. Is this a hack? Please have an animal on the cover. I'm like in despair. Okay, let's see what we've got. Why did none of these have animals on the cover? I feel like when I wrote this prompt I would have thought that this would be really easy. I feel like this is going to be kind of tricky. None of these books have animals on the cover. That's actually crazy. Wait, do I have the new Lint Painter? Does that have one? Bro, literally none of these have animals on the cover. That's crazy. I'm going to pop out to my classic shelves and see if I've got a single one there. If not, then we're going to have to do a butterfly. Besties, you're... That's actually a joke. That is literally a joke. Did you even see that? And it's the same... I can't even look at him. He's... You know what? My hand... Thankfully it hit a different finger this time, but I've got a lump on my hand. Do you see that? Here. I can't even begin. Okay, basically, you're not going to believe it, but there were no... books out there with animals on the cover. So we're gonna have to be choosing one of these that does have one. It's a weird couple of books, but we've got either the My Dark Vanessa or The Prisoner's Throne, which both have butterflies on the cover. These are very different vibes. Okay, so far we've got a classic, non-fiction, thriller, romance. So we could either do a fantasy or we could do a lit fic book. But this might be just a lot if I'm reading stoner as well, but I feel like I need a reread of the first book in this series in order to pick up its sequel. No, I'm gonna put this one on the TBR. I'm gonna read a summary of the first book. So one book on my entire collection that actually fits the prompt. Kind of crazy. That was so dramatic and so like unnecessary, that whole experience. I'm literally exhausted and my hand is so injured. I'm gonna go tell my brother about this. He's literally not gonna believe it. The first prompt was for a book that was published or written or whatever it is before I was born, and that goes to Stoner by John Williams. This is a classic following this man who's a professor, grows up in a dirt poor Missouri farming family, and he goes and teaches at university. His life is very, very kind of mundane and ordinary. Oh, he doesn't identify himself as special, but he is, I guess he's good at what he does and things like that, but he doesn't like amount to anything. There's meant to be a really beautiful scene, like the final scene of this book, and it's also meant to make people cry. I'm going to be reading it for a video in which I I'm not going to tell you because it'll be too exciting. I feel like it's going to be a really fun one. I know a few of you are waiting for this video. If that gives you any hints. So yeah, Stoner by John Williams, first book on the TBR. Hopefully the video will come either in March or April. We'll see how quickly I read that book and how quickly I can kind of gather my thoughts on it. Okay, then we chose any hardcover book. I chose The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin is a music producer, and this is his book about creativity and how every single person is creative in some sort of sense. I have a beautiful signed copy, and I've been wanting to read this book honestly for months and months at this point, but no, years. I actually pre-ordered it for someone because I gave it to them as a birthday gift, but then they bought me this physical copy. I've been putting it off because I've been trying to save it for like the perfect time, and I feel like now is the perfect time. I'm so excited to get to this, and I'll definitely let you know my thoughts because I know this one does have some slightly mixed reviews. For a thrifted book, I chose Into the Water by Paula Hawkins, which is a thriller. I actually don't know what this is about. Let's read the back. Just days before her sister plunged to her death, Jules ignored her call. Now Nell is dead, they say she jumped, and Jules must return to her sister's house to care for her daughter and to face the mystery of Nell's death. But Jules is afraid of her long-buried memories of the old mill house, of the small town that is drowning in secrecy, and of knowing that Nell would never have jumped. People think her sister like took her own life, but actually it might be more sinister than that. This is fun. I'm scared. Yeah, this book gives me like Gillian Flynn, or Gillian Flynn, however you say her name, those vibes. I don't know why. I really enjoyed The Girl on the Train. It was, some moments were kind of creepy. For the most part, it was just like a really interesting kind of mystery, so I'm hoping this will be similar. Although I wouldn't mind something being a bit creepy. It's been a while since I read a thriller, and I want to see if this is something I want to explore further. For a book with a flower on the cover, or flowers on the cover, we chose Powerless by Elsie Silver, which I'm really excited to be finally taking off the TBR because like I've owned this one for such a long time, and I really want to make progress with the Chestnut Spring series, especially as the third book in the Rosehill series, which is like a spin-off of this one, comes out in March. So, and I don't want to start the Rosehill series until I've read the full Chestnut Spring series, so I feel like I need to be picking up the next book, you know what I'm saying? Two childhood best friends, two broken hearts, one impromptu road trip to get away from everything. So this follows Jasper Gervais. This is so funny. This is when people say Jasper Jervis, but it's spelled like Ricky Gervais, so I think it's Gervais. I'm not sure. Anyway, he is a professional ice hockey player, and I think it's about him and his childhood like crush. I don't know, but it's like, I think it's like a fake marriage or a marriage convenience or something like that, or fake dating, I don't know, but either way, she's an ice skater. He's everything I've ever wanted, everything I thought I could never have. I'm excited. It's been a while since I read these books, and I do like them a lot. The first book, like I said, I was so in love with the main guy in that. He's called Rhett. Terrible name. Sorry if my name's Rhett. So attractive. And then for a book with an animal on the cover, we have The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. This is the second book in the Stolen Air duology, first book being The Stolen Air. I really liked that book, but I didn't love it as much as the previous series, which was the Cruel Prince, like Folk of the Air series. Those were all 5 stars. Prisoner's Throne, I think, was a 4, and then I dropped it to a 3 or 3.5. So I'm hoping that this one might be a little bit better than that, but either way, I'm just excited to get it off the TBR because it's been sitting on my shelves doing nothing for a year at this point. Over a year. My mum pre-ordered it for me for Christmas 2023, and it came out early 2024, and I still haven't picked it up, which is crazy because usually I read Holly Black's books like within release week. This follows Oak and Wren. Oak is a character, like a side character in Folk of the Air series, and Wren is a new character, new to us, and it's basically following her, but it's also like her relationship with Oak, and much court politics, you know, like fairyland. I love this world. There's been so much hate for the Cruel Prince series, like for the Folk of the Air series recently. It makes me want to burst into tears. So I'm not going to be hearing it. If you want to pop off in the comments, like feel free, but I'm not going to be interacting with that because I just love it. And I feel like people who don't like it, like it's okay to dislike it, but if you're hating on it, you're fundamentally like you're fundamentally not getting what Holly Black was trying to do with the series. The thing is, let me just rant for a second. The Cruel Prince came out in a different era of the book world, right? Not pre-book internet, but much earlier book internet, pre-BookTok internet. Yeah, so she was never ticking off these tropes. She was never like going for an enemies to lovers kind of thing. She was going for a YA, let's be clear about this, YA fantasy series. I was heavily steeped in like fairy folklore and had an interesting like court politics kind of vibe going on. A really like morally grey, in a way dislikable, but also you can't help but root for her, support women's rights and women's wrongs kind of main character. And this tiny little romance subplot, like subplot. If this book doesn't align with what you went into it thinking you were gonna get, I feel like that's on you. I'm sorry. I just love that series. I love reading those books when they came out, like pre-BookTok, and people actually appreciating what Holly Blackman set out to do, and this new flood of hate is from people who I just feel like don't get it. But as someone who just loves fantasy, like the fantasy genre, this fairy folklore kind of vibe is just everything to me, and I love this book. So that's so beside the point. Basically, Prison's Throne is on the TBR. Okay, this was the most chaotic video. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to go ice my hand or something, I don't know, and like nail Thor to the top of my bookshelf, so he's not gonna do that again. I promise my videos are not usually like this. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, let me know you did. Subscribe if you'd like to stick around and see more videos from me. Sending my love to you from here to wherever you may be in the world, and I'll see you so soon in a couple of days for another video. Bye bye.